It's amazing. I mean, raises the question of, are there 1,000 fully automatic weapons floating around somewhere in New Mexico that are not supposed to be there? We just don't know yet.
Tonight, a new federal indictment is charging a former Albuquerque gun dealer in a scheme to illegally obtain machine guns. And 2 former high-ranking New Mexico law enforcement officers are also implicated but not charged. Target 7's John Cardinelli has the story that spans 5 states.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Doug. The indictment claims a former sheriff and a former police chief both signed documents to help that local arms dealer obtain fully automatic weapons. This federal indictment filed by Maryland's U.S. attorney was recently unsealed and puts New Mexico in the middle of a firearms conspiracy.
This is a remarkable situation when you have at least 2 police chiefs or heads of agencies in New Mexico who are connected to what looks like a national conspiracy to, falsely obtain fully automatic weapons.
Those heads of agencies are listed in the indictment as just the initials MG and RM. But look at these other details. MG was the sheriff of Bernalillo County, New Mexico from approximately 2015 until 2022. MG ran for sheriff in 2014 and 2018, winning 2 4-year terms. He also made an unsuccessful bid for mayor of Albuquerque in 2021. RM was the police chief of Pueblo of Laguna, Albuquerque, New Mexico. RM had been undersheriff of BCSO. The 2 men who have those same initials and whose resumes identically match the credentials listed in the indictment are former BCSO Sheriff Manny Gonzalez and former Laguna Pueblo Police Chief Rudy Mora. So why would 2 men with the same exact initials and credentials not be named in the indictment?
We don't know why they're not charged. Some of the reasons might be that they are cooperating with federal authorities, that they've worked out some kind of a deal ahead of time and to provide information and provide names up the chain.
The indictment claims both men sent and signed letters to the ATF requesting to demonstrate fully automatic firearms.
The way this is supposed to work is very rarely a licensed firearms dealer can get a letter from a law enforcement agency that says we need to test out some weaponry that might be useful to our SWAT teams, for example. And these would be weapons that are fully automatic.
According to the indictment, MG sent 127 letters to Albuquerque firearms dealer James Tafoya that requested a demonstration of 598 firearms. RM sent 17 letters to him as well that requested 414 firearms. Former Bernalillo County Sheriff Darren White said he never sent any letters like that when he was sheriff.
And I can't recall a time where we were asking for demonstrations of hundreds of various automatic weapons.
Tafoya has been indicted on charges of conspiracy to interfere with government functions and to violate federal law regulating firearms. Former police chiefs in North Dakota and North Carolina who also sent letters to other dealers were charged, but MG and RM have not been charged. The indictment names them only by initials and past credentials. According to the indictment, it's unclear what happened to the fully automatic weapons.
The key question is where the guns went. Did they go to these agencies? Did the Laguna Pueblo and the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office get almost 1,000 fully automatic weapons that are only supposed to be used for demonstration purposes? That's the question that needs to be answered.
To both people whose initials and credentials match those listed in the indictment. However, we've been unable to reach them. For Target 7, I'm John Cardinelli.
BCSO issuing a statement. The office is aware of a recent indictment of law enforcement officials. The office has been in communication with the ATF office in Maryland. Due to the ongoing investigation, Sheriff Allen will not be providing interviews related to the indictment at this time.